Hey guys, Mitko here from DNModels, and today we are reviewing T-44 Soviet medium tank from MiniArt, kit number 35193. This kit is probably the most anticipated kit for 2016, not because it's a rare T-series tank, but because it features full interior, engine compartment, active suspension, movable tracks, and pretty much everything that you might expect from 2016 scale model kit of a tank in 35th scale. The kit contains 768 parts, of which 94 are photo etch parts, 15 are clear plastic parts, and 659 are regular plastic. Before looking at them though, we're gonna take a look at the instruction sheet, which is made of very nice material and features a lot of description, which is first for MiniArt. There are description of the paints, and the table is made alongside with Mick Jimenez from MIG, which guarantees that if you use those particular paints, you're gonna be spot on with the colors. There are two-page description of the sprues included in the package and the photo etch plus the decals included. The instructions start with building the engine, which is the highlight of the kit according to my personal opinion. It features very nice delicate parts and it will become great looking engine in 35th scale once built. The interior is also crowded. Everything that you might need of, it's there. There are several different parts that might be left unassembled to show the difference in between, for example, the ammunitions, or some parts of the rear engine hatches open or closed. Also interesting is the assembly of the fuel tanks, which are the concept that we later see in T-55, but this tank here is the first one to feature them in the active design. The turret interior is also abundant. The seats, the rods holding them, everything is nicely done. And you gotta prepare yourself with time and patience to build that, because it's gonna be a tough build. There are many intricate, small parts, but this is the price for having a highly detailed kit. Interior parts of the gun barrel are not all glued, and that promises most of them to be movable, and that creates additional nice features on this model. The tank itself wasn't built in great numbers, however MiniArt provided us with a lot of painting options. They're mostly Russian, of course, featuring different tanks from the 40s, 50s, and eventually later on, but there are also two options of what if, featuring two German tanks in case everything that happens in the World War II didn't end in 45, but rather in 46 or later. All of the tanks are nicely decaled with different numbers, different insignia. This makes them very interesting. Nice job from Mick and MiniArt collaboration. The first two sprues that we're gonna take a look at, holding the upper parts of the engine, some manifolds and some small sub-assemblies. Most of the sprues, as you can see, hold small details, very nicely molded, clear, clean, without flash, with high detail. And since using the new plastic from late 2015, most of the troubles that you might encounter working with it are avoided. One of the most interesting sprue that you have in several numbers are the wheels. They are spider wheels used in T-34, and some of those can be seen on T-54 and T-55 too. The tires are nicely molded, and there are no need of whatever aftermarket parts in terms of wheels, tires, or tracks. The active suspension is cleverly thought of from an engineering standpoint, and as you can see, is done in a way that you can be pretty sure that everything will remain workable after you assemble it. All small parts have very fine detailing, and they're clean of flash and damages. The small boxes, the commander's hatch, the other details, everything is molded clean and nicely, and the sprues are separated in a logical manner. The ammunition set consists from two separate parts of cartridges, which are also very nicely done. And if you leave some of those aside, you'll have pretty colorful description of the interior. Small parts are separated and they are put on different sprues, which guarantees higher level of detailing while molding. The fire extinguisher, the small riveted plates, the hatches, the handles, the hooks, very realistic, very crisp. Idlers are also wonderfully done. They are combined with the toolbox and the brackets that holds the fuel tanks, and in total we have 2 of those sprues. Wheel hubs here are also separate, and again that is a nice option for you to model. Next are the ropes, the fuel drums, and the suspension rods. They are molded on separate sprue, again for comfortability, and even though you have a lot of unused plastic in the box, this is helpful when it comes down to assembly. On the fuel drums there is just enough texture and they are very clean. The ropes are made from plastic, however you can use different ones and use metal ones instead if you decide to super detail the model. The superstructure is not that textured as I wish to be. The welding marks are perfectly represented. The hatches are made in a way that they can be all open or partially open. Everything is not oversimplified, but it's simplified enough to give you the pleasure of building. If MiniArt decided to add just a bit more texture to that kit, I would consider that the best kit for 2016. The V12 diesel engine is my favorite part of the kit. It is so amazingly detailed that I cannot compare it with anything but Tamiya's aircraft engines in 32nd scale. It is a very nice representation of this popular engine, and I believe that if you decide to close the hatches of the engine compartment, you can still put it next to the model outside and you will have an amazing, stunning effect to the viewer. The fenders are thin enough, they do not require additional work, however they lack some texture too. On this sprue there are small sub-assemblies, some boxes, some parts of the hatches, and the most important thing is that the fenders are engineered in a way that you can remove some parts of them and show them damaged, which gives you pretty much the opportunity to play along while building the model. The turret, I believe, is the most important part of the kit. We're gonna start with the tarp, which in my case came apart from the sprue. The molding of the turret is wonderful. The texture is second to none. This is perfect representation of the real thing. The gun barrel also is one piece, and there are a few parts that needs to be clean, of course, but nothing serious and nothing that you cannot cope with. All the details, rivets, corrugations, everything is perfectly molded. The top part of the turret is missing some texture, but again, this can be fixed easily. The sub-assemblies of the gun are also cleverly thought of. As you can see, those tracks here are superb quality, and the only substitute for them can be eventually metal tracks of some kind. They are molded in a way that there is no option for you to damage them in any way, pretty similar to their tires on the gas series of trucks. The decal sheet is big and abundant, which definitely made this model a lot more interesting. Clear parts are very clear and clean, although not many. The photo etch sheet, it's very thin, very delicate, and perfectly executed. You gotta be careful sanding those because you might damage the mesh. All in all, that's what we have in the box of kit number 35193 from MiniArt 1/35th scale T-44. Thanks to MiniArt for providing this kit. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. You can find the link to buy this kit down below. I hope you like it, and see you in the next one.